Hi, my name's David Muir, and thank you for joining us in Prepared to Be Hired's Resumes Online in You class. In today's class, we're going to talk about the use of your resume, specifically when it's used online. We're going to cover the concept of job boards, from the major one that almost everybody knows about, down to the niche job board concepts. We're going to talk about the use of your resume when applying for jobs and kind of how employers use your information once it's received. We're also going to cover the concept of social networking sites, their role in your job hunt, and some common pitfalls that job seekers inadvertently make. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's get started. So let's begin with your resume. If you don't have an electronic version, you really should create one in one of the multiple word processing software packages that are out there. It's an important tool in today's job seeking market. And we're not going to get into design and format. We've covered that in other classes that you should probably check out if you're not familiar with them. But a common mistake, and something I want you to keep in mind, is that it really needs to be developed in a standard format so that it is optimized to be captured by potential employers. You see, when you submit your resume for an opportunity, the corporate databases are going to capture your information, and if the information isn't in a logical place, the database isn't going to capture you correctly, and you're never going to have a chance to get that job that you applied for. So let's start with job boards. The concept is fairly simple. A company provides a service to potential employers where the employers pay the company to let them search through resumes they've collected as well as post jobs. Many of you have heard of the most popular ones, the big guys, the Monster, Yahoo, Career Builder. And most of you probably have a resume already uploaded on these sites, and that's good. But the reality is that so does everybody else. So you're swimming around with a lot of other people. A lot of people are fishing for the same job. Other job boards you should consider. One of the categories, I believe, is the regional job board. If you live near a major metro area, say Washington, D.C. or New York City, the local newspapers almost always have job boards, as well as tap into Craigslists of each city. There's lots of smaller community newspapers and those types of resources available that a lot of job seekers just don't think about. So if you're looking for a position close to home or in a particular regional area, try and find regional job boards that are available for you. Also, think about niche job boards. And if you don't know what I mean by a niche job board, Dice.com is a great example. Dice.com's whole purpose is to provide employers who are offering technology jobs, and the resumes and people who apply for those jobs on that site are solely geared towards technology. There are hospitality niche job boards as well. Think about whatever skill set it is that you have, and then seek out a job board that specializes in serving just that community. You're going to be competing against less people, and the jobs that are going to be offered on those sites are going to be of a higher quality and better suited to your skill sets. Job boards offer some type of search agent feature. What a search agent is an opportunity for you to create a profile of a job that you would like to have. Many different options are available, and each site offers it a little bit differently, but revolving skill sets, keywords, location, money, there's lots of different parameters you can set. And by creating a search agent, you can actually customize an alert system for you, so that when a new job populates on that particular job board, you're going to get an email letting you know that the job has become available. The cool thing is that a lot of sites will let you have the opportunity to have multiple search agents. So if you're someone who's open to a couple of different career paths, you can set one for each. The important thing to remember is that by setting search agents, you are proactively working the job market so that anytime something populates, you're going to get first word. When you register on a job board, most times you're going to have to create a profile to do so. And in that profile, you're going to be able to upload your electronic resume. It's a good idea to do so. Just make sure, we'll get into confidential resumes here in a moment, that if there's a confidentiality setting and you don't want to be found out, you take advantage of it. Now, if you're a confidential candidate, and what that means is you don't want your boss to know you're looking for a job, which is about 30% of the job seekers out there. You really want to be guarded with how you use your information. If you're going to put a resume that's on a job board, make sure that they have a confidential option, something that's going to blank out your name, your contact information, and if you're smart when you upload the resume, you're going to call your current employer confidential. Your employers are out there searching the job boards, and if they come across your resume, it's going to raise suspicions. Another way that you can use your resume online is to actually post it on a website. So, for example, you could go out and get a URL and actually put your resume right on there. And a really cool thing about that is Google will then be able to find your resume. So that when employers are searching different avenues to find candidates, i.e. Google, they'll be able to surface your information in a different fashion. Great place to have your information. Let's transition next and talk a little bit about social networking sites and their role in your job hunt. First of all, if you're not on a social networking site yet, you just haven't had the time or you don't believe in it, I really suggest you rethink your position on that. Social networking has taken the world by storm, and it is a heavy player in the employment world. Let's start with sites like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Each one of these have different characteristics, and job seekers should leverage their potential features to the best advantage that they can. I love to recommend LinkedIn. I think it's a fantastic tool, and really the way I look at it, it's kind of like a professional billboard. It's a static image that's up there, and I recommend to all my candidates, if you have a good resume, it should read exactly like your LinkedIn profile. You want to create a message that has synergy across multiple media fronts. Also, if your connections are limited, and a lot of people are, and that's okay, the only problem you have is strictly visibility. It's like if you have 5 connections, you've got a billboard on a dirt road, but if you have 5,000 connections, you have a billboard on a superhighway. The whole thing is about the opportunity for people to come across your information when they're looking for somebody just like you. Now, when we talk about sites like Twitter and Facebook, they have these status updates or tweets. These are messages that are only 140 characters long, and they're only meant to convey quick messages. Think about it like your own personal press release system. And I highly recommend that you tweet or add a status update about once every 5 or 6 hours. You should be talking when you're on the job hunt about the fact that you're on a job hunt, that you're looking for a position, that you're going on interviews. This increases the chances that someone you know is going to make the connection that you should be talking to this person about their job. And the more connections you have, the better chances you have of getting that position. Imperative to use social networking sites. I do want to talk about some of the common pitfalls that people have with regard to social networking sites. Realize that anything you put out on these sites is in all likelihood going to be out there for a real long time. And employers do check these social networking sites looking for faux pas, reasons why you don't belong. If you've got goofy pictures of you goofing around in school, maybe doing something that you shouldn't have, you really ought to be careful as to who can see that information. In your status updates, be careful about vulgarity and things of that nature. Anything that is off humor or off color could really push a potential employer away. All things being equal, I see dirt on somebody and nothing on somebody else, I'm going to take the clean person. One other thing I wanted to talk about, just in brief, is on the topic of video resumes, because it's a part of your online presence. And this is purely my opinion only, but video resumes are something that right now, current technology does not make them employer friendly. And what I mean by that is when recruiters or headhunters or hiring managers scour a resume, they do so very systematically, looking for very specific information, and then they move on. Video resumes actually force someone like me to sit through a lot of information that maybe is not relevant to what I'm looking for. As a result, I end up spending more time watching your video and being turned off by it than if I were to scan through your resume and make a yes or no decision about you. So if you're creating a resume video, be short with the content, drive them to the resume itself and encourage them to contact you as to why you're a fit for the job. Don't go into too much detail. So a lot of great information. Thanks for sticking with us. We talked about the need for having an electronic version of your resume that is standardized and can be accepted into any employer's database. We talked about the concept of job boards, ranging all the way from the big ones down to the regional and the niche job boards, and the importance of you making sure you have a presence on each. We discussed placing your information out on Google, how to use search agents. We talked about being a confidential candidate. We even discussed using social networking sites to your advantage and how to leverage the different types of social networking sites that are out there. There's a lot more places you can go out and market yourself, and really, let's face it, that's the business you're in right now, is marketing yourself. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us. Prepare to be hired. Your job awaits.